dipping my toes for the first time into Big Bear Lake. Thoughts at this moment. So I'm continuing educational research with everything I do, think and say, every encounter, every event, every person, even every industry, video, in movies. Like, it just, you can't shut it off once you see what you see from an understanding, healing, difference between medication and medicate and medicine, and just the role our bodies play and how not what it's being portrayed as. And it's beyond clear as day, and then frustrating, but then obvious what direction you want to take next. So a gentleman whose information I frequent, and he's not in the industry at all, and I was intrigued by something he said where I've been guilty of this as well. He said along the lines of, when people say, you're not alone, when we talk about, I've got symptoms, my skin, I've got vitiligo, or I've got multiple Achilles tendonitis, or I'm addicted to this, or I've got relationship troubles, or I can't digest this. People's response to comfort you is, well, you're not alone. Even practitioners will say you're not alone. I've said it. I said it in the mental health Zoom workshop. And so with some context behind this, you're not alone. What exactly does that do? And what are you looking for? Or what are they giving you when you hear that? Something you're going to have to understand is, bottom line, you are alone. You are absolutely alone, solely independent, you with you, responsible. Just want to make sure no snakes. You and nobody else for your understanding, your actions, your work, your consistency, and where you're going to take this. It's all you, and think about why it has to be you. Nobody knows what it's like to be under your skin. Nobody knows what it's like to have your bones. Nobody knows what it's like, what you're thinking and feeling right before you go to bed, that the first thing you wake up. Nobody knows what it's like to have a meal as you. Nobody knows what it's like to travel as you. Nobody knows what it's like to bleed as you, or swell as you, or inflame as you, or cry as you, or laugh, or screw, or kiss, or write, or create as you. Because nobody knows this, when your body gives you an opportunity through symptoms of healing or injury, for the first time ever, is this moment. It's never been experienced. Even if you go into forms of medicine that label you like vitiligo, like grade 2 ankle sprain, like herniated disc, like autoimmune anything, neuro anything, cardiac anything, it still isn't an ankle that's ever been seen before. It's never been experienced because it's yours. And think about now the work, where that has to come from. It has to come from being self-guided, intuitive, back within you, looking within you. Why? Because the wisdom gained, and hopefully the ability gained, is going to be applied only as you. Nobody knows what it's like to even cross a crosswalk as you, following signals and reading the traffic and propelling yourself with your legs and arms to get yourself across. Nobody knows what that's like. The work you've done to even be able to see a signal and understand a signal and move your body across, that's you, with you. To be able to engage in a relationship, whether it's with a spouse, sibling, friend, colleague, or client or patient, to be able to experience light as you, to be able to hunt, consume, prepare, digest, assimilate, and evacuate food as you. That's why healing has to be you with you. It cannot be with somebody else. And that, by that fact, that truth, you can't waiting for salvation from somebody else, waiting for somebody to save you with a clinic or a test, that the very nature of those pull you away from your understanding of you. And you will, at some point, have to circle right back to this point again. You are alone in healing, solely and by yourself alone. Now, is there a essential of community and connection with other people that is essential medicine to a human being? Of course, it's an essential. I've been saying these essentials for a long time. That is one very, very, very crucial essential. Even in the movie Castaway, it was for theatrics, but if it really happened, he may have created a personality, a persona in a volleyball, an inanimate object, so that he could connect with somebody, especially there were no animals on there except fish. Or even in times when your body, they'll call you sick and deranged, but you're absolutely not. There's no such thing. But if your body starts creating people or seeing people around you that you're communicating with and engaging with, it's not wrong from your point of view. Just because nobody else understands it or can see it doesn't make it wrong for you. And now that's something we'd have to get into. Instead of calling that person having Alzheimer's, dementia, or schizophrenia or whatever, why would their bodies create, or what are they seeing that we can't? Since it's perfect, absolutely perfect. So connecting to another, connecting with a group, you're only able to connect with them to the capacity of the work you've done independently. Say that again. Repeat that again. Even in team sports or in a group, if you want to go isolate in the mountains with some fucking group, that's fine. But the group only receives the connection and community from the level of the work and ownership you are doing with yourself. So if you're in a shared relationship, a spouse or a family of some kind, each individual, kids are modeling until they're able to go out on their own, and they're just little mirrors of mom and dad or caretakers anyway. But your work and your understanding and your ownership and your responsibility and your adamant steps into the unknown are you with you. And that is a very, very potent, powerful, almost secret weapon when you understand this. And that is why you'll be able to that's why it's so important that whatever direction you're heading medically gives you autonomous freedom. And by the very nature of tests and labels and protocols and algorithms, they're even seeing algorithms being a problem in music, algorithms being a problem in sports, algorithms, of course they are. But it's getting back to, I even tell people who are working with me, I'm not leading you, I am guiding you, absolutely, but I'm just next to you and slightly behind. You are in front the entire time because we have to read your body doing what it's doing and then go from there. We don't have any idea who you are or what you've experienced, no matter if you show up with MRI results and findings and or you show up with interpretations of whatever you've been labeled by somebody else, or and when you grasp this comes the ultimate freedom with you, but then the ultimate terror of you needing to go in. That's the fucking fruit, is when you go into yourself. You are by yourself. And that's the point. So you are alone in healing. And that's a good thing. That's how it has to be. As long as we are evolved to being made up the way we are and expressing the way we are. And then community supports. But if I ever get together with community and I'm sharing, as far as healing, understanding healing goes, like, dude, guess what I've been doing? Guess what I realized? Guess what I've been doing nonstop on? Boom, 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 boom. I'm not joining the group to offload responsibility onto somebody else. Hey, can you make me happy, or can you make me complete, or can you make me not scared of my beliefs? Can you make me not scared of my past? Can you make me feel better? It's to the capacity of the work you've done. Those connections are very, very important. And when you do the work on your own, those connections are going to change, because people you've connected with aren't going to make sense anymore because you're growing and you're changing. And that's where marriages can just dissolve peacefully because it doesn't fucking make sense. Nobody's known who anybody was. Everyone was just following what they were supposed to do because mom and dad said so, society said so, the fucking church said so, grandparents said so, whatever. And then all of a sudden you discover who you are and do some work on yourself. You're like, oh my God, turns out we're not even remotely a match. My job isn't even close to what I'm passionate about. Why the hell? Oh my God. But that's the beauty part, is at any point you can pivot and take a next blind step into the unknown. You're never lost, but you don't know what's after that next first step. And that's the beauty of all this continuing education and seeking out, is when you start to see this, you can go into any industry. You can literally go into an allopathic Western medical doctor's office, and you can pull nuggets and learn from them. Even if you're staunchly against medications and diagnoses and all this stuff, you can listen to how they view it, to what their approach is, and you can pull universally truthful guidelines and principles for then you to poetically add. That's why I say carving poetry in granite, for you to apply. You can watch a movie, you can watch a sport, you can watch them break down sports, you can watch build a building, you can watch them build a highway, you can listen to people talk finance, and you can pull out who would be a good doctor because they get it. My dad, how he would talk about how he pitched, he would literally be a outstanding practitioner to how he applied getting batters out and the skill and artistry of throwing a baseball. Like how he talks about is exactly how I will go over some principles and guidelines and concepts in visits. It's uncanny how it crosses over. But you have to be alone in healing. You have to, for what it is for. Nobody is with you the amount of time you're with you. Nobody knows the depths of you with you. Nobody knows the feeling of fear and love like you. And that's the point. That's where it's all coming from. So something to think about and understand that if you're not alone in your healing, why not? And the second we give somebody, you're not alone in healing, what we just did to that person is granted them salvation outside themselves. Permission to have somebody else fix them, cure them, therapy them, save them. Even if it's not even, what about life-saving? Okay, somebody's drowning, you give them a life preserver, you bring them, then they're responsible for kicking their way to shore and then on shore going and fucking starting life. They'd be like getting on shore and just laying there and going, save me again, save me again, save me again. And then it just continues on until the person has no idea where they are in life. They don't have any use for anything. They don't know how any of it works. They don't trust their bodies. They don't understand their bodies. They know everything about their bodies. They're terrified. And then seeking more and more and more outside of self. So one of the greatest ways to figure out what your next move is to understand that you are fully alone in your healing. And that's a good thing. Big Bear Lake. Big Bear Lake. Time to go back to the spot. Boom.